Hey there, wrestling fans, Brian Blitz here, and joining me as always is Craig Young, and welcome to another exciting edition of Superstars the Ring here at ccwrestling.biz. Craig, before we get started with the show, we're going to talk a little bit about something that happened on last week's show. As you know, Future Evolution stated that in a recent match, if Shooter McGee were able to defeat Jonathan Wells in a one-on-one match, that they would grant Shootmore a tag team championship match.
And they did, as we saw in last week's episode of Superstars of the Ring. Shooter McGee pulled out probably one of the biggest upsets of his career, rolling up Jonathan Wells for a 3 count, and Wells was upset.
It's not going to get any bigger than that for Shooter McGee. Make no mistake about it. He did. I mean, you're talking Jonathan Wells is a former CCW champion, the longest reigning CCW champion for his time. He's a former Southern State champion, current tag team champion with Daniel Anderson, and. Shooter McGee upset him in that match and thus earned his team a tag team title match here in the very near future.
Well, the big news this week is that our live events, Shootmore has been attempting to cash in on their tag team title shot, and the tag champs want nothing to do with it. They're like, no, we're not going to give them a tag team title match.
Well, sooner or later they're going to have to, and on that note, we were able to catch up with the CCW Tag Team Champions, and needless to say, they were a little bit less than happy with the current situation.
Well, they're upset to be interrupted as it was. We caught them during a photo shoot at a recent event, so
let's go to the Tag Team Champs, Future Evolution.
Hey, we got an interview with the Tag Champs. Guys, why are you ducking out on your obligation to defend the Tag Team Championships against Shootmore?
Listen, I don't know about ducking out, okay? But here's what I do know, okay? Shooter McGee and Eric Moore are what's wrong with CCW today. You see, much like Alistair Diamond and Solo Jones, all these young guys, they go through the school, they get the training, then they show up here on the main roster and they think that they're superstars. And what do? It doesn't help matters any that they're rushed right to the top of the line and they get title matches, just like Shooter and Eric. See, they beat us in 2 lucky wins, and then what happens, They get tag team title matches. See, that's what's wrong. See, Richard Marshall is out of touch. Richard Marshall's out of touch with what's going on in CCW and what he needs to be doing for his job. But you see, one way or another, they're going to learn respect. One way or another, they're going to be taught a lesson in respect. You see, because Daniel Anderson has been here over a decade. He's a second-generation superstar. He's got professional wrestling running through his veins. But me, you see, I am the longest-reigning CCW champion in history. 518 days, nobody will ever touch it. And I think people seem to forget about that. I think people seem to forget about who we are, Daniel. And you see, that's the worst part about it. Because it's been a long time since I've went to that place that I don't like to go. But you see, Eric and Shooter are about to put me in that place. They're about to make me go where I don't want to go. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, if I have to, and if Daniel has to, it's going to be a bad night for Shootmore. Because like I said before, when we get through with them two, it won't be Shootmore, it'll be no more. Tell them, Daniel.
The greatest travesty of this generation of superstars is that they actually think that all men are created equal. My family, the Anderson family, built this company from the ground up. And these guys want to come in and call themselves rookie sensations? They want to have documentary film crews come out and follow them? I'm an Anderson, damn it! You two live in a facade, a fake world where you believe that you are just as good as us. I got a reality check for you. No man is created equal. Some people are born smarter, some people are born wealthier, some people are born better looking. You too are not better than us. We are better than her. We are better than you. We are better than Shootmore. We are the future of CCW. Not Eric Moore, not Shooter McGee, not Alistair Diamond, Vernon Black, or any other jabroni in the back. Jonathan Wells, Daniel Anderson, and Kevin Toole are the future of CCW. Keep filming.
I'm telling you, Craig, they're not playing.
No, they were upset. First off, you can see how upset they were when they were getting their pictures taken. Mm-hmm. And they'll make time to go see the photographer. They'll make time to go see catering. They don't want to talk to anybody being interviewed.
You see him a lot of catering, do you?
Anderson, at times.
Anderson. Okay, well,
so But they don't want to talk to anybody about this tag team title shot. And you could tell Shootmore, Eric Moore, Shooter McGee,
Right.
they are chomping at the bit for their option. They want that title shot now.
Well, why wouldn't they be? I mean, they do have a title shot coming to them. It's rightfully theirs. Shooter McGee clearly earned that victory and earned a shot for his team. So they should have all rights that they want, or however you want to phrase it. They have rights to those tag team championships, or at least a shot at them.
They do.
And sooner or later, Future Evolution is going to be backed into a corner. They're not going to have a choice.
Sooner or later, somebody from the higher ups are going to demand that they have that title shot right then and there. And I hope I'm in attendance to see that match because it will be all over the place.
Yeah. Well, we've already seen where that rivalry is definitely going. We're going to switch gears for a little bit. I know you have a little bit to talk about as well.
Our favorite segment here on Superstars of the Ring, mailbag.
It's in your pocket.
I thought we were actually getting a graphic for this now. No graphic? No graphic. Oh, great. Well, maybe some will cut taper. Oh. No.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We were told we were going to get a graphic this week of, hey, production came in and said, oh, we're going to get this mailbag graphic. Sort of like because Letterman's canceled, we're going to get something good.
First of all, the last thing that production is going to do is going to give you any more time and flexibility to go back to catering.
Yeah, sure. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this week's mailbag, and finally I get one.
I could have swore that was a game show cue card.
It could have been. Speaking, that's a nice jacket. This one is actually addressed to both of us this week. How do you say that name?
Bill.
Bill? Well, Bill, thanks for writing in. Wow. It's 74 letters. Guys, hosts of Superstars of the Ring. God, why don't we have people prep this? Superstars of the Ring. Thank you for letting us write in. Can you tell us about any active or former military members that are part of your promotion here in Continental Championship Wrestling? We want to make sure all of our military get thanked on this Memorial Day and be remembered. Good letter, Bill. Brian, you are the most active person military-wise that we know,
not
former military.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you have this segment. Bill, again, thank you for writing into us at Continental Championship Wrestling, and we hope to hear everybody write in.
That was actually kind of touching. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, Craig, you're right. I did spend 13 years in the Army as a medic, and it's not really a big secret to a lot of people. I think everybody knows about my time. I don't hide or anything like that, but it's not just me. There's other folks that work in front of and behind the camera at CCW that have served their country and served it well. I mean, we're talking about Mike Carney. He also was an Army medic, and he's a very good friend of mine.
Our former announced colleague.
We've traded war stories back and forth numerous times. Of course, former superstar and Hall of Matt Classic Hall of Honor inductee JJ Ace. Also, he's a former Marine. And if you ever met him, you'd know right then and there. And, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's been many folks that have stepped in the squared circle. And it transcended well from what they've done serving their country into the limelight.
To the ring, some of the guys that have came directly out of the military and have trained for Continental Championship Wrestling have been some of the biggest superstars we've had here. Also, of course, I don't want to forget Rick Miller.
Rick Miller,
long-time announcer. Always been a friend of the show. We've known him for a better part of a decade. He's been involved with CCW for a better part of 2 decades.
He's an inspiration to me for a couple of reasons. Of course, I ring announce, and he did as well. And I think, honestly, part of my military background and his as well is what helped us out doing what we do now. I do have a loud, somewhat obnoxious voice, and I learned that serving my country, believe it or not, because I was pretty quiet before then.
And it's a trait you've continued well here on Superstars of the Ring. But now as we're going to
Move on, Private!
As we're going to transcend to the next segment here of Superstars of the Ring, we go back to what is probably the hottest feud in wrestling right now. And it has been for a better part of 2 decades.
Yes.
But why does Jamie Mckinnon want Rock and Roll Chris Turner so badly, and why does Rock and Roll Chris Turner, and again, he's told us, but does not want any part of Jamie Mckinnon at this time?
Well, Craig, I I don't really think it's that Rock and Roll Chris Turner doesn't want a part of Jamie McKinnon. I think he's in the mindset that he knows he has nothing left to prove with Jamie McKinnon. I mean, I'm sure the Outlaw is a CCW champion, of course, and in very uncharacteristic fashion, the champion is making a call to the challenger. But I think Chris Turner is the utmost professional, and he wants to put everything that they've done in the past. He doesn't want any more of this, but Jamie McKinnon keeps pushing those buttons.
You know, I think if you're right, but if Chris likes to compete. Yeah. Chris does not like to get in there and fight, and that's the difference. You're not if you have a match with Jamie McKinnon, it's not a competition of who's better. Jamie McKinnon's an incredible wrestler, and we have incredible wrestlers here in Continental Championship Wrestling.
And he's faced many of them.
McKinnon is a fighter.
Yes.
Chris Turner is a wrestler. I think there's going to be a very weird dynamic as that continues forward. But I actually, we have talked with production. We're going to have a sit-down interview with Chris Turner in the next few weeks at some point. At that point, maybe we'll get an answer. Maybe we'll find out where this is going to go, because McKinnon at all of our live events as of late, everybody's becoming, and it's two words I'm starting to like to use a lot, is collateral damage.
Well, we certainly saw that on last week's show when he came out and he interrupted a very special moment with Chris Turner when he was greeting a very special young man, and we'll talk about that more in the future. But the Outlaw Jamie McKinnon, you're right, he is a fighter. Rock and Roll Chris Turner is a wrestler. There are two contrasting styles that are no stranger to one another, and sooner or later they're going to be on a collision course one more time. It has to happen. And with that being said, of course, we'd be remiss if we weren't mentioning this week's match.
Yep. This week we see rookie young superstar Solo Jones getting his opportunity at the CCW champion, the Outlaw Jamie McKinnon, which going into it, and we've talked about this on previous episodes, these both McKinnon and Solo Jones are fighters, and I was very interested in seeing these two swing it out, because I wasn't sure who threw a stronger puncher in Continental Championship Wrestling.
Well, there's only one way to find out, so let's go ahead and go to the action.
Hey there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another exciting edition of Superstars the Ring and action. As we see this current CCW champion, the Outlaw Jamie McKinnon, taking on Solo Jones, and it's already starting to turn into a fight. Joining me right now is our Sire of Public Rooms, Mr. Eric Snook. Snook, once again, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. This is the one I've been waiting for all night. This is tense already.
Any night, any show, any time. Listen to the headline. If it reads these two men in the ring, you know it. As you can see, it is going to be a fight. Both of these two men are known fighters. Solo Jones obviously has the support of the crowd, but Jamie McKinnon has experience, and he just has a pure, dirty black heart.
I don't think this is going to be a technical display. This is going to be an all-out brawl.
Absolutely. McKinnon now showing a little bit of ring awareness by staying out of it, and I think he's learning. He may be learning quickly to give Solo Jones his space. But then again, Jamie McKinnon's also like a snake. He will strike when the striking's good, and I'm telling you, Solo Jones better be on his best behavior, because Jamie McKinnon's going to come after him.
Keep his eyes open and stay on his toes.
Jamie McKinnon now. Oh! Those chops to Jamie McKinnon now going for a quick chalk block on Solo Jones, and now taking him down to the match.
Solo Jones is about to get a lesson here.
Solo Jones is definitely going to be schooled, and I'm not a person that really likes or hates anyone. I don't necessarily approve of all their actions, and my opinion notwithstanding, Jamie McKinnon has proved time and again why he is where he is. He is the CCW champion, and he has gotten to the top of the mountain, so to speak, by doing the very things he's doing right now. Controlling tempo, sometimes it takes breaking bones, chopping chests, just beating people up.
Oh, absolutely. It's not a mistake that he's where he's at.
No. And trust me, from experience, he will be the first to tell you that. Referee Jerome Jackson now admonishing McKinnon for put his hands on the rope a little early there. it's going to take a little bit more than that to make Solo Jones give up, but he can't be feeling good right now.
No, and when you have to pick up somebody the size of McKinnon, you need leg strength. You need your legs to be underneath you.
You need every bit of your energy because he is like a bull. But right now you have an ox versus a bull in the middle of the match right now. It's a matter who is going to be the one standing at the end. McKinnon now going to work on that leg on the outside.
Now the ref needs to step in at some point because he could permanently injure Solo Jones. It's not going to matter a career. It could be life-threatening as far as mobility for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that can certainly change your quality of life at any time. That was a real good point. I mean, if you destroy somebody's mobility, I mean, they may not be able to perform some of the things in life in general that with a broken leg the way they normally would. You can definitely mess up somebody's livelihood. But Jamie McKinnon, like I said earlier, he's got a black heart. He honestly doesn't care. Jamie McKinnon is for good grief, wrapping Solo Jones' leg violently around that pole. Jamie McKinnon is in this for Jamie McKinnon.
Well, we've heard him say it before. He's not here for the fans. He's not here for anything but the money and the glory.
And coming from his point of view, I really can't blame him. But, I mean, there's just no compassion. Nothing. And, let's be honest, he's taking his toll on a few referees before in his day as well.
Feeling bad for the ref. Solo Jones is rock and McKinnon is hard place, and the ref is right in between the two of them.
I think honestly, if I were the referee, I would probably give him a little bit of a leeway. McKinnon now, slow, methodical, just absolutely stalking Solo Jones. Continuing to work on that leg.
And this is taking the crowd right out of it. You can feel the energy sucked from the room now. And that's what McKinnon wants.
He does. He'll definitely take every advantage necessary. But at the end of the day, he doesn't care as long as he walks away with a CCW Championship. I'm going to bring up another point right now. Right now, if you don't know, Jamie McKinnon has been involved with more than just a war of words with another legend here in CCW, and that is Rock and Roll Action. As you know, for several weeks now on the webcast, Rock and Roll Chris Turner and Jamie McKinnon have definitely exchanged and actually had a couple of confrontations as well.
It's gotten pretty heated between the two. We thought the whole rivalry was over, but as far as I can tell, it's far from over.
Honestly, I don't know if that rivalry is going to be over until one of them's in the dirt. This is no doubt going to come to a head, in the near future. Of course, I may be speaking of, I don't know for sure, but I may be speaking of a Wrestle Bash is coming up. It's just around the corner. And will these two square off a Wrestle Bash? Will it go beyond that? Will it go to that? We don't know.
Well,
but it would certainly be a huge match if it does take place there.
In the coming weeks, the board, we're going to have a lot of meetings. There's going to be a lot of things on the table to discuss. That's going to be priority number one.
Good. Good. Thunderous chop by Jamie McKinnon. Solo Jones has a lot of heart, but Jamie McKinnon is doing everything he can to take it out of him.
Straight right hands right into the jaw.
I got to tell you, Solo Jones, known for his own shots. Jamie McKinnon, he might want to be a little careful because he may swing the wrong way, and then Solo Jones. You know what? It doesn't matter. Jones right back down to the mat. Jamie McKinnon continuing to control the pace of this match.
That's the wily veteran in McKinnon. Like I said earlier, he's champion for a reason. He knows exactly what he's doing. But we see Solo Jones getting up.
You see McKinnon adjusting that. He was adjusting that arm pad, and that's usually set up for, but Solo Jones still has some fight in him now as he's taking it right back to the Outlaw.
Re-gifting those right hands.
Solo Jones, known for those punches. You get hit with the wrong one, and it could be good night. Jamie McKinnon now falling right on top of Solo.
And I think that's all the damage that was done to his leg earlier. He just couldn't sustain him in the air like that.
Yeah, it didn't take very long, and now Jamie McKinnon right back in control. Good grief!
just about took his head off.
That thunderous patented lariat that the Outlaw is known for. Solo still trying to struggle to get up. That would have knocked out any normal person. Solo, how is Solo even able to even slightly move?
I think he's running on pure adrenaline, but we got the cowbell.
That's McKinnon. No, McKinnon's not going to. Oh, this is disgusting. So now you see rock and roll. Now you see rock and roll Chris Turner getting right back in the action, coming to the aid of Solo Jones.
We were just talking about that. Rock and roll Chris Turner. He stands for integrity, and he just proved it right there.
Well, speaking, you shall receive rock and roll. I don't think Jamie McKinnon's finished himself. This may come to a head soon, but rock and roll Chris Turner knows Jamie McKinnon just as well as he knows himself.
Well, we might not be having any meetings this week. This could go down right now.
I'm game. I can go all night, as long as I'm not involved in the fight.
I second that.
Now the Outlaw coming back in. Oh God, he's got the cowbell. Good night. He just clocked rock and roll Chris Turner right in the forehead. What is it? Is it Skylark? Skylark trying to come in to fight off the Outlaw? That kid is so full.
Oh no.
I think Skylark just got grounded. We got more superstars coming out. Now we have the Jesus Freak, Logan Stevens, who holds a victory over the Outlaw. Jamie McKinnon. We need some help out here. Somebody ring the doggone bell. We need some help.
Right there. Collateral damage blitz. McKinnon. And as we welcome back to Superstars of the Ring, guys. We see...
Yeah, acknowledge the show next time.
Hey, thanks. Sorry,
Co-host.
Sorry, Biscuits. So, we see McKinnon first kills. Just goes one-on-one, that brawling style as we talked about. I think Solo Jones could have had him.
Well, I got to tell you, Solo certainly proved to Jamie McKinnon that he can hold his own in a match like that. Yeah. And you see with the outcome there, he still came away victorious.
He did.
I think he definitely proved that Jamie McKinnon is vulnerable. And the locker room, although so be it, came out and helped Solo Jones out there, Solo didn't back off.
Well, as you saw, first McKinnon and back to that collateral damage, we saw it with the Romeo, or when he took on Romeo De La Guerra at the FanFest show. And again here, he's choking these guys over the top rope with that cowbell with the rope.
He said he was going to do it.
He said he was going to do it, and he did it. McKinnon's not a liar. McKinnon is McKinnon. So as he's choking him out, here comes rock and roll Chris Turner. Slides in the ring. McKinnon leaves. McKinnon has every option right there. This could have been it one-on-one. He gets out of the ring. Chris being Chris, turns around and he's checking on Solo Jones, and
he got his bell rung.
He, in fact, got his bell rung. They say you don't do puns, Brian.
I don't do bad ones.
Well, McKinnon back in the ring. First he takes out Turner with that cowbell, which got the entire crowd incited. Then, here comes Skylark. Skylark into the ring. McKinnon hits him so hard with that lariat, not only does he 360, I'm pretty sure he left his shoes somewhere in the second or third row. CCW Southern States champion, Logan Stevens, he comes in to try to help out. McKinnon almost takes his head off with a lariat too. Mad Dog Miller and Romeo De La Guerra, that was finally the end of the cavalry. It's not just Chris Turner at this moment. It's not just Solo. It's not just Romeo De La Guerra. McKinnon has laid out the locker room. He has served notice on this locker room that it is going to be everybody is a victim until he gets his hand on Chris Turner.
Well, one thing's for certain is the Outlaw Jamie McKinnon is definitely what he says he is. He's a fighting champion, and he fought everybody.
He, in fact, fought everybody. And
There's
really,
no question. And you know, having said that, now
he came out, he won. I mean, really. He took on 5 guys, and he walked to the back. There wasn't a limp. He walked to the back. Nobody got their hands on him.
It's a good way of looking at it. You know, and now that you've recapped what everybody just saw, we'll go ahead and say that this feud is definitely not over.
No.
It's obvious. And Rock and Roll Chris Turner splayed out in the middle of the match that he was. He's going to have something to say about this. And I know you said you're going to try and have an
I'm going
interview.
to try to get an interview with him in the next couple of weeks.
Hopefully you'll be able to get it this week. Maybe we'll have it on next week's show. You know, we'll certainly...
Speaking of next week's show, and as we just mentioned, Skylark's in action next week.
Yes, he is, and he's a high flyer like never before, and I can't wait to see what he has in store for us next week.
Me too. Well, that ends another episode of Superstars of the Ring. Right?
Oh, you know what? Let's not forget. Remember, we have talked about it a couple of times. We have the big benefit coming up in Callahan, Florida, on Sunday, June the 7th.
1 to 4.
As we mentioned, on 1 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. As we mentioned on last week's show and a couple of times on our Facebook page, young Connor Bennett is going through some health issues, and we at CCW are going to take part in the benefit to help him out with his medical expenses. And we certainly want to express our invitation to all the folks watching. And you know, if you want any more information on that, you know, of course, check us out on our Facebook page to get all the details on when and where and what time, and you know, possibly a menu, who knows. And we hope to see you there.
I heard barbecue. You know me and catering. I love barbecue.
Well, good. Then you can show up.
I will be.
Do your part, Craig.
I will be.
Do your
Check it
part.
and all.
Stay home, Craig. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fantastic episode of Superstars of the Ring. For Craig Young, I'm Brian Blitz, and until next time, we'll see you at ringside.